Hello and welcome to this week's edition of MMA News. And today we're going to be going over some more minor cards that took place over the weekend and that are coming up. Okay, so the first thing on the agenda was that this last weekend was 1FC, which is 1FC5, Pride of a Nation, first fight card to take place in the Philippines. And, so I'm just going to go over some things. The main event, which was the most significant, was Bibliano Fernandez, the former Dream featherweight champion, beat Gustavo Feliciano via decision. And that fight is significant because there's I believe there's gonna be three different it's gonna be one of three title. Well, I know what I meant. Well, he could be one of three title. One of three fight. He could be in one of three fights in the next fight card. That would be title fights. They did announce that 1FC, the next card is going to be on 1FC6 is going to be on October 6th, and it's going to feature three title fights to crown their first three champions. Shin Aoki will be fighting for the lightweight title against a yet to be named opponent. Actually, no, it's Arnaud Lepond is who he will be facing. So yeah, we will be seeing that. So there's obviously quite a few. There's a few different options of what will probably happen, who probably will be fighting. But anyways, yeah. So that was the main event card. I'm just because I don't know these guys that well, but they're listed as a co-main event. I'll mention it anyways. Edouard Yang versus Felipe Inamoto. Yang beat Inamoto via unanimous decision. That's just how that went. And then one of the bigger profile fights was Andrei Arlovsky and Tim Sylvia in their fourth fight. And just to add to the confusion of 1FC's rules, it was called a no contest because Arlovsky kicked Sylvia when he was down. Now, why they ruled it this way, I do not know, because I've specifically seen there's specifically when Roger Huerta fought for the promotion, he got soccer kicked in the face. So for this to happen is unusual. They've been saying that it was because he apparently didn't secure permission from the ref. Why you would need that, I do not know. But that's just how. Yeah, I don't know. It's confusing to say the least. So that's how that fight ended. Then Jens Pulver fought Eric Kelly and lost because of via TKO. Because of kick to the body and punches. So there's been a lot of Pulver really should retire. He's taken a humongous beating during his fight career, and this is one of those times where he should really hang up the gloves, but I don't know. It depends on whether he feels that he can financially afford to retire or not. Anyways, few more high-profile fights. Rollis Gracie trademarkly submitted Tony Bonello in the third round. And then Igor Gracie unfortunately lost to Zhang Huan Cha, which via TKO, which still shows that the Gracies are not completely undefeatable. Gregor Gracie beat Nicholas Mann via armbar. Phil Baroni won his fight, so that's nice because he's kind of had. And there was also another fight where the illegal soccer kick resulted in a no contest. It was announced by ONE FC after the whole debacle of this fight card that ONE FC rules would be changed completely to include soccer kicks. Why they weren't in the beginning, I have no idea. But it's just it was a confusing situation to say the least. That whole fight card. But anyways, that was the major fight card. Now I will be going over two fight cards that will actually be coming up online this next weekend. The first of which is going to be on Friday. It's Tachi Palace Fights 14 or Tachi Palace Fights Validation. And the way this and they've got two title fights. They got their bantamweight champion Ian Loveland taking on Casey Olsen, who's a rising contender, and then you have Georgi Karahanian, who's a I believe he was a WEC contender, taking on Micah Miller. And so Tachi Palace Fights is kind of carrying on a tradition of MMA that's been taking place at the Tachi Palace Casino for a rather long time. They did the early, they did all the early WEC fights, most of them, in fact, before the Zuffa buyout. And then the Tachi Palace wanted to continue, so they created Palace Fighting Championships. But then the leader of that, the owner of that promotion left, so Tachi Palace. So then they created Tachi Palace Fights. So they've had quite a few different promotions in there, but now they have their own namesake promotion that's in there, so they can just do whatever. Chris Saunders is also fighting on that fight card against Andre Phil, who's an up-and-comer. But yeah, so it's kept that long tradition. This is the 14th. This is their 14th fight, which is their third this year. They usually put on an average of about 4 fights a year. 2010 they actually had 5 fights a year, but they only started broadcasting online recently. They've done they do fights on Sheerdog. They broadcast them over the internet, and that's what they are currently. They're gonna be doing that Friday at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Pacific time. So if you want to watch that, you can watch that online. So that's that. And this next fight card, which takes place on Saturday, is not a MMA fight card, but to me, it's pretty entwined. It's a K1 fight card. I have always felt that K1. I've been watching K1 almost as long as I've been watching MMA, because they were going concurrently in Pride Fighting Championships. So to me, they just go hand in hand. So I've always felt that one goes with the other, and there was of course a time when you had Dream and K1 both being owned by Fighting Entertainment Group. That is not the case now, because Dream is no longer in existence and K1's owned by a different promotion. So anyways, this is actually the first fight card. This is significant because it's the first fight card that's being broadcast on Spike TV. Upcoming for a actually no, it's not going to be on Spike TV. It's going to be on Spike.com stateside. It's the K1 World Grand Prix in Los Angeles, and this is basically a qualifier for some stateside fighters to go to qualify for the I believe it's the round of 16. They're doing both K1 Grand Prix and K1 Max. K1 Max is K1 Grand Prix is up to 100 kilos, and K1 Max is up to 70 kilos. So so these it's basically weight classes. There's not many of them in K1, but this is how they're doing it. And this is gonna be at the Memorial Sports Arena. Now this is now the reason why Spike is doing this online is similar to how they're do the preliminary Bellator fights online. It's in preparation for when their UFC library contract comes due at the end of the year, and at which point they will be able to start doing their own programming. This is which will basically be the result of, as we now know, three things. They're gonna be doing K1 because they did a multi-year deal. They're gonna be doing 4 events this year online, and then the rest of the events in 2013 are gonna be on Spike. They're also gonna be doing Bellator. They're gonna bring that in from MTV2, and then number 3, they already have their own news program, MMA Uncensored. So they're gonna have those 3 things going on. They're going to be back in the fight business full on. They're also been talking about how they're planning on doing some kind of reality-based shows for Bellator. So we're just going to see how that all folds out. But anyways, some significant fighters are going to be in this Grand Prix. Mighty Mo, he's been in there. Seth Petrozelli, we know for he's actually had some experience, not successful experience, but experience in K1. The first time I ever saw Seth Petrozelli, he fought Bob Sapp, who once had a promising career, but is now just out to collect a paycheck. Mighty Mo, Seth Petrozelli, and then you have Kit Cope, whose only claim to fame is that he slept with Gina Carano. So, that's that. The Spike card will be on at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Pacific time. So, that's it. So, see you next week.